you have the size. You tried, obviously, as you did in the regular season, to a lot of success, kind of zone up, get up in the gaps, try to take the primary ball handler out of the game. But, you know, when they have that quickness and I mean, he's so explosive, man. And he's improved the
playmaking. Exactly. He's improved so much with his playmaking. And you've seen him make the jump, you know, just from last year's playoff run all the way to just one playoff, you know, series right there. You know, he was super patient, you know, even when we were getting up in the gaps and, you know, sometimes we would double him, sometimes we would smoke, sometimes we would just be up in the gaps just trying to make him think, you know, and we did. You know, there was, you know, he had one quote where he was like, you know, their defense is confusing and making me think, and he figured it out, you know, and, you know, so I commend him, man. He just, he grew throughout our series that I think is going to benefit him throughout, you know, the rest of this run.
But 100%. And your guys' strategy felt like, for me, whether you were in a soft blitz or just in the gaps, you were leaving guys in the corner, coming high, loading to the ball, trying to bait him into those passes that maybe he's not sure the guy's going to get a look, or he's got to throw it over hands, trying to confuse him. And I think, to your point, he did a lot of things better this year than he has in the past. He slowed down.
Yeah.
He changed paces. He would drive and he would hesitate slightly instead of just all one speed.
Yeah.
To give him a chance to see, is he coming? Is he not coming? Where's this pass? Where's my window? Do I have a layup, or do I need to get off it? He also, I think, sometimes got into a crowd, and instead of making a difficult pass, he made simple passes, which in the past, I don't think he was as willing to make. You know, that's a huge step, right? Just the simple one, get off it and allow your teammate to have a closeout, you know, or a 2-on-1, right? Like, that's the way to bust the way you guys were trying to load to him.
Yeah.
Tricky because the foot speed piece. So for me, I'd love to hear you know, how you guys approached it. But, you know, even when you tried to double him a little bit, guys were reluctant to run out and double him because he's so explosive. So then he has the time. Right, the time to look around and pick his spot.
Yeah, and that's why we kind of changed pitches. We wanted to try to change pitches on him as much as possible, because we want, you know, you don't never give one player, no great players, one steady diet of the same thing, you know. But, you know, even when you try to double him, his ability to race double teams, to split double teams, to get creative. He's still strong too. So it's not like he's a frail guy where you can double him and be super aggressive with him and get him on.
Yeah.
He's definitely, he's learned over the time, but he's strong. He has low center of gravity. He has a great handle. He can shoot the ball extremely well. And, you know, to add on to what we said a couple of times before in some of our older episodes about believing in your teammates, making them feel even better than what they are as well. And he's trusting his teammates to make plays. I think, you know, that's a, man, listen, we got to give Minnesota their flag. That's a damn good team, man.
Very good team.
You know, I'm looking forward to seeing their next matchup, you know, either between, you know, Golden State or Houston.
Yeah, for sure. There's a clip of you telling Ant after the game, take the next step.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, in your words, as somebody that you have played with on the USAB stuff and the Olympics gold medal together, obviously there's some mentorship. Like, well, what did that moment mean to you when you say that to a young player that you've shared the floor with?
You know, I think that moment for me is like, you know, understanding and recognizing the next generation and someone who can do it and be great and be great for a long time in our league. I think that's what our game is all about, is being able to pass it down to the next generation, and they can continue to do great things. And for me, you know, being out there, you know, in my 22nd season, playing against a young up and coming superstar in the flesh, you know, and Anthony Edwards, and watching him in the postseason last year make those steps to get to the Western Conference Finals and fall short to Dallas, you know, and then have a full summer with him in the Olympic team and seeing how great he was, just listening and just soaking in everything from myself to KD to Steph. You know, you could just see he was just like a little kid in a candy
enthusiasm
store.
For him.
Yeah, right? Like super energetic and happy and just like super, like, he was just grateful that he was in that opportunity to be there. And for me to just, like, you know, tell him to take the next step, like, you know, it doesn't always mean, okay, well, Western Conference Finals and now you got to be in the finals. It's like, take the next step and just, you as a person, you as a player, continue to get better and better. your time's going to come. Whenever I can't decide when that's going to be. Sometimes we have no control over when that next step, as far as being, going to the finals and winning. We're not always have the opportunity to do that, but like we do have control over making the next step in our own individual journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was about, because I love seeing that, man. I love seeing, I love seeing Jason Tatum take that next step. I love seeing, now I see Ant, taking that next step. It's a proud feeling for me, as a player, been in the league for so long.
Yeah, you admire it when you see someone's putting the time in and they're improving. Like you said, for Ant to have that type of openness and attitude around USAB, coming in with like, this is a great opportunity. Like immediately it's going to give you excitement for his journey, because he wants to learn, you can tell. But I think that, that buy-in of continually improving, someone like, he can rely on his athleticism. Yeah. But to take the next step, he's got to be a great teammate. He's got to be coachable. He's got to make his teammates believe he's bought in. I think you could see that, there's always been a little chatter around Rudy or around Randall. And I thought they both were laser focused, simplified their games, were efficient. And that's a lot of it comes from the head of the snake. Is he willing to make the simple play, pass, make his teammates better? Because, Rudy had a great game and he deserves, all the credit in the world. But his opportunities came from the pressure Ant puts on the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Rudy did in that game 5 came because Ant approached the game the way he did those first 4 games. Now all the eyes was on Ant, and everything was game planned around Ant, and Rudy was the beneficiary of that moment. And and also, like, when you have a guy like Ant who's growing and making that change, and you can see him developing more and more, it makes guys want to come there too.
That's right.
Like, you have to think long term too when it comes to like free agency and things of that nature. How do you continue to get better too as a team, is being able to get small pieces. When you're a good team that's trying to become a great team, it's literally 1 or 2 pieces like in the off season that if you acquire, that makes the jump for you. And Ant has that. He has that bravado and that flair and that it factor. That guys want to play alongside that, because it's energetic, it's fun, and he competes. He competes.
For sure. And we got to give some credit to their coaching staff. They've done a great job.
For sure. For sure.
They've developed those guys, and as well. It's a symbiotic relationship, right? Like coaches develop, players got to buy in, and they've both done that. And I could kind of read between the lines. Rudy was asked, Ant didn't shoot the ball well, and his comment was, he made the right plays. We don't care if he makes or misses. To me, that's an organizational language. That's the stuff they're hearing in film sessions, in meetings. Like, Ant, make the right plays, make the right decision. And his growth from last year to this year in that way. So I give credit to the whole organization, especially that coaching staff, for helping that team matriculate.